I had been waiting 3 months for a package containing my late grandfather's war medals. The tracking said it had been delivered, but I never saw it. Days later, I saw my neighbor's teen wearing the medals as part of a costume for a TikTok video. I ran over, heart pounding, and demanded, "Where did you get that? That's my family's." His mother shoved me back and screamed, "Finders keepers! He found it fair and square!" I stood there speechless as she slammed the door in my face. It took a lawyer and $2,000 in fees just to get them back tarnished and broken. 3 months. That's how long I waited. 3 months since my mom mailed me the package. 3 months tracking it. Watching it move from Iowa to Missouri to Colorado Springs, where I live. 3 months of being excited every time I checked the USPS app. It was supposed to be delivered on a Thursday. Signature required. I work from home, so I knew I'd be there. But the doorbell never rang. I checked the tracking at noon. Delivered. Left at front door. I opened the door. No box. No slip. Nothing. I thought maybe the carrier hid it behind the bushes or left it by the garage. I checked everywhere. Nothing. My stomach dropped. I called the post office. They said the carrier marked it delivered at 11:18 a.m. I checked my doorbell camera. No footage. Turns out the battery had died the week before, and I hadn't noticed. The carrier swore he left it on my porch. The package wasn't just some random order. It held my grandfather's medals. Henry Mallory. 2 Purple Hearts. A Bronze Star. A Distinguished Service Cross. He never bragged about them. In fact, he rarely spoke of the war. But he kept the medals in a shoebox in the closet. When he passed, they stayed in my mom's attic for years. She finally found them when cleaning out old boxes and mailed them to me, knowing I'd treasure them. Now they were gone. I tore my yard apart. Crawled under bushes. Checked with every neighbor. No one saw anything. The post office filed a missing mail report. That was it. By the second day, I was thinking porch pirates. There had been a few thefts in the neighborhood lately. I even posted in our local Facebook group asking if anyone saw a suspicious car or stranger. Crickets. By day 5, I started to accept I might never see the medals again. Then came Sunday afternoon. I heard music blaring outside. Some pop song I didn't recognize. When I looked out the window, I froze. Logan, the 15-year-old from next door, was filming a TikTok video in my driveway. He had a group of his friends with him. He was wearing my grandfather's medals. They dangled from his chest on their original ribbons. I couldn't believe it. I grabbed my keys and ran outside, heart hammering in my chest. "Where did you get those?" I shouted. "Those are mine! Those are my grandfather's!" Logan's face turned pale. His friends scattered like cockroaches. Before he could answer, his mom, Tara, came stomping out of the garage. She pulled Logan behind her and crossed her arms. "What's your problem?" she demanded. "Those medals," I said, pointing. "They're mine. He stole them." Tara glanced at the medals. She didn't even look surprised. "Finders keepers," she said calmly. "He found them fair and square." I felt like the ground dropped out beneath me. "He found them? They were stolen from my porch." "Prove it," she sneered. "And if you come near my son again, I'll call the cops." She shoved me backward. Hard enough that I stumbled. Then she slammed the door. I was speechless. I stood there shaking for a moment, then went back inside and called the police. An officer came out. Took a report. Said he'd look into it. But when Logan told him he found them by the sidewalk, the officer said it would be hard to prove theft without video or witnesses. A civil matter. That's what he called it. I wasn't going to let this go. The next day, I knocked on Tara's door again. She opened it but kept the chain on. "I'll pay you," I said. "Just give me the medals back. Please. You think I want your junk?" she said, rolling her eyes. They're Logan's now. And she shut the door in my face. That's when I called a lawyer. It cost me $2,000 in legal fees to file a small claims case and get a court order demanding the return of my property. The judge agreed the medals were clearly mine, and that Logan had no right to keep them. A sheriff escorted me to Tara's house 2 weeks later. She handed the medals over without a word. They were damaged. Scratched. One ribbon was torn. The Distinguished Service Cross was bent nearly in half. My heart sank. Logan had clearly worn them every day for his TikToks. Most people would have stopped there. I didn't. They needed to pay. Not with money. With shame. I started digging. Tara worked as a classroom aide at Palmer High School. She also ran a blog called Raising Respectful Teens, filled with posts about accountability, honesty, and digital responsibility. I found out Logan was trying to become a TikTok influencer. He had over 20,000 followers. He styled himself as a wholesome teen entrepreneur. I created a fake TikTok account and followed him. I collected every video where he wore my grandfather's medals. I saved screenshots where he claimed they were family heirlooms passed down from my great-grandfather. Lies. I sent everything anonymously to the school principal. Tara's blog sponsors the brands Logan was courting, local veteran groups, and the Facebook group for our neighborhood. The school suspended Tara first. Then she quietly resigned. Her blog sponsors dropped her after a veteran-owned coffee company issued a public statement condemning her. Logan's TikTok account was reported and banned for impersonation and stolen valor. But I wasn't done. I contacted the American Legion in Colorado Springs. I told them the whole story. They invited me to bring the damaged medals to a meeting. Veterans there were furious. They offered to repair the medals at no cost. At the next city council meeting, they presented the restored medals to me in front of everyone. Tara had shown up to protest a separate issue. She sat quietly as the Legion commander spoke about stolen valor and disrespect toward veterans. People stared at her. Some whispered. Logan wasn't there. Rumor was he'd switched to online school. But even that wasn't enough. My lawyer reminded me that filing a civil claim didn't stop me from suing for damages. So I sued for property damage, legal fees, and emotional distress. $12,400 total. Tara tried to fight it. But without her job or sponsors, she couldn't afford a decent lawyer. She lost. She asked to set up a payment plan. I refused. I garnished her wages. Every month, a portion of her paycheck comes to me. Now, every morning when I walk to my car, I pass their house. Tara avoids looking at me. Logan doesn't step outside much anymore. Their once lively yard is quiet. Overgrown. That's my grandfather's real revenge. The wage garnishment had started in September. By November, I thought things had finally settled. The medals were back where they belong. Tara and Logan had paid, at least in some way. But people like Tara don't just sit quietly. One cold Friday morning, I found a letter stuffed in my mailbox. No stamp. No return address. Just folded paper. When I opened it, my stomach tightened. Drop the garnishment or things will get ugly. You've been warned. No signature. No handwriting I recognized. I immediately called my lawyer. He told me to report it to the police, which I did. The officer who came out shrugged and said unless a real threat was made, there wasn't much they could do. I also told the American Legion guys. They told me to keep my eyes open. A week later, I woke up to find my car windshield smashed. Police report. Insurance claim. Another shrug. Could be kids, the officer said. Right. Kids. But I wasn't scared. I was angry. I installed new cameras. High-end ones. Hidden ones? I also decided it was time to stop reacting and start controlling the board again. I paid a visit to a friend named Marcus. Marcus owns a small home security business. He also happens to be a veteran, like my grandfather. I told him everything. He gave me a deal on more cameras. Real ones, fake ones, motion lights, and a trail cam aimed directly at Tara's driveway. If they wanted to escalate, I was going to document every second of it. Then the twist I didn't expect happened. One of Logan's old TikTok friends, Jackson, messaged me through my burner account. "I think you should know," he wrote. "Logan and Tara are planning to say you harassed them. They want to flip it on you." I asked for proof. He sent screenshots. Texts between Tara and Logan, discussing how they could claim I was stalking them, or even breaking into their property to plant things. That's why the note and the smashed windshield had happened. They were building a case against me. But Jackson also told me something else. Tara had a cousin who worked part-time for a local property management company. The cousin had access to security codes for several homes, including a few vacant rentals near us. They had talked about using one of the empty houses to stage evidence. My blood ran cold. I went to my lawyer again. We drafted a cease and desist letter to Tara, making it clear we knew about the harassment and the plan to defame me. We also filed for a restraining order. I handed over the screenshots Jackson had given me. When the deputy showed up to serve Tara the restraining order, I watched from my front window. She tried to argue. She even tried to claim I was the aggressor. But the deputy wasn't buying it. Not after reading the screenshots. Here's where things got even worse for Tara. The property management company fired her cousin. Apparently, the company had no idea he was accessing empty homes without permission. They launched an internal investigation. That's when it all unraveled. They found out Logan and Tara had actually been using one of the empty rental homes to make fake evidence videos. Logan had filmed himself pretending to find tools and spray paint in the basement, claiming they belonged to me. Tara planned to use the videos in court if they ever got the chance. The property management company reported the whole thing to the police. This time, the cops took it seriously. Conspiracy to commit fraud. Filing a false police report. Trespassing. Logan was still a minor, but Tara wasn't. She was arrested. At that moment, I thought the war was finally over. But then the real storm hit. Tara was arrested in early January. The charges were serious. Fraud. Filing false police reports. Trespassing. Conspiracy. She was out on bail 2 days later, but the damage was done. The school district announced they were investigating whether Tara had ever falsified documents at work. Sponsors from her old blog publicly condemned her. The parenting groups she used to lead banned her outright. Her lawyer tried to negotiate. They wanted to settle everything quietly. I refused. But then, something unexpected happened. Logan showed up at my door. Alone. I didn't open the screen door. He stood there shivering in the cold, his phone clutched in both hands. "I'm sorry," he said. His voice cracked. "I didn't know it would go this far. My mom made me do it." I said nothing. "She said it was just videos. She said we'd make you look bad and you'd drop the lawsuit. I didn't want to break into that house. She said I had to." I kept silent. Logan took a breath and said, "I'm willing to testify." Against her. My lawyer called it a gift. We amended the restraining order case and added Logan's testimony. It broke Tara's defense. She pleaded guilty to trespassing and fraud. She was sentenced to 6 months in county jail and ordered to pay an additional $8,000 in damages and legal fees. But here's where my own mistake came back to bite me. Remember the burner TikTok account? The fake fan account I used to gather Logan's videos and expose him? Tara's defense team subpoenaed my social media records and uncovered the account. They argued I had stalked and entrapped a minor. It didn't matter that Logan was almost 16 and the account never asked him to do anything illegal. The court ruled I had violated privacy laws by posing as a minor online to gather evidence. $3,500 fine. No criminal charge, but a costly lesson. In April, Tara reported to jail. Logan went to live with his aunt across town. His father, who had been out of the picture for years, stepped in to take partial custody. Their house went up for sale at a loss. No one in the neighborhood would buy it. The reputation stuck. By August, it sat empty with a foreclosure notice on the door. As for me, the medals, my grandfather's medals, are fully restored. They sit in a sealed shadow box above my mantel. I had a plaque made. Under the medals it reads, "Honor is earned, not taken." I learned something through all this. Revenge feels good. It feels right when the other side lies and cheats. But it always has a price. I paid mine. Tara paid hers. And Logan? He may have made mistakes, but he chose to testify. He faced his own consequences and tried to make it right. That's more than his mother ever did. I won. But it changed me. I don't trust easily anymore. I keep cameras running at all times. And when the medals catch the light at sunset, I don't just see my grandfather's honor. I see the cost of defending it.